Hi, how's everybody doing? Like always, I'm going to start with my tea. This time I have jasmine tea. All right, we'll let it sip a little bit. Now, today I'm going to bring a specific topic that may enhance your understanding on the healing process. I understand that many people believe that healing from any given disease is because we are fixing an organ. But that's not really the right way to think. Look at this graphic at the level of organization. Things starts first at a cellular level. Then it moves to a tissue. Then from tissue to organ. So if we emphasize the healing process of an organ, of a disease, of a tissue, of the body, just thinking on a specific organ, we are not doing right. What we are going is perhaps misleading even the body. We have to start at the cellular level. Cellular physiology. Once we understand how can we fix from cellular internal organelles and functionality, now we will understand how that will evolve into healing not just the organ, but our body system. I hope you like this. This is Dante Hoa, and I'm bringing to you awareness in biology and integrative medicine. I hope you like it. Now, cheers. Mm. Ah. I'm going to make another video for you guys on properties of tea. You'll see, you'll love it. Now, from my point of view, what is the problem with modern medicine? We know that modern medicine often treat downstream symptoms while ignore the upstream system drivers. Modern medicine is very good at treating symptoms, but symptoms are not the cause. They are signals. When we focus only on organ and suppress symptoms without understanding the system behind them, then the body is forced to adapt. Over time, those adaptation becomes chronic diseases. So therefore, we have to think about not just being organ centered, but also how can we understand how these mechanisms actually work. Well, when we talk about the principles of hierarchy in biology, as you can see here, molecular, cellular, tissue, organ, system, and then organism, pathology begins upstream. Biology operates in a hierarchy. Disruptions begin upstream, long before symptoms appear. Biology is organized in hierarchy, molecules from cells, cells from tissues, tissues from organs work together, and in turn system with diseases. So almost disease never began at an organ level. It starts at upstream, long before symptoms appear. So what we see when you coughing, these are symptoms. But what really caused this coughing? That's what we have to be putting ourselves into it in order to understand the mechanism progressions of pathologies, of diseases, of inflammation. Now, so the big point is that the primary unit of healing starts at the cells. Cells are the fundamental unit where healing or dysfunction originate. Every function in the body depends on healthy cells. Everyone. When cells lack energy, the structure, ability, or stability, or proper signaling, the body doesn't fail. In another word, we need to have a proper signaling system in order for things to go well. If not, even if it goes abnormally, the body will adapt. Symptoms are often the visible results of an invisible cellular stress. If you could see in this image, we have a cell that is in distress, we have a cell that is healthy. So when we have energy, when we have a proper redox balance, we have a structural integrity of every body cells and tissue, and the signal now is coherence. So if we have everything making sense in a standardized pattern, things evolve in a healing proper way. And as you know, the energy comes from our mitochondria. And without adequate energy, repair and regulation cannot occur. Cells run on energy. When energy is abundant, the body repairs, regenerates, and restores balance. When energy is low, the body shifts into survival mode. Many chronic conditions are not failure, they are energy conserving adaptation. In another word, energy is our main focus. But for us to really have energy, we need to have a good mitochondrial functionality. All right, now let's go a little into biochemistry and also physiology. When we talk about redox balance, what are we talking about? Reduction plus oxidation. So at its core, redox balance is about electrons. We have two biochemical reaction, oxidation, which is a loss of electron, and reduction, which is a gain of electrons. Life depends on keeping these two in balance. So what's really happening in the body? Well, energy production creates stress. Our mitochondria produce or make ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This process always produces free radicals, what we call reactive oxygen species, ROS. The problem is that reactive oxygen species are not bad. They are normal signal. Problem starts when reactive oxygen species equals or surpasses antioxidant capacity. And when we talk about antioxidants, which are electrons donors, okay, antioxidants like vitamin E, like vitamin C, like vitamin D, just to mention a few, okay, they neutralize reactive oxygen species by donating electron. Also, which one we could talk about this? Well, you have it right here, glutathione. Like I said, vitamin C, vitamin E, NADPH or nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. That system, they stop change damage to DNA, to protein, and to cell membrane. So when we talk about redox balance, what we actually is talking about control fire. Just think about reactive oxygen species like a fire. A small fire, you have a warm, you have signaling, and you have healing. Uncontrolled fire, we have tissue damage, we have inflammation, and we have aging. So redox balance means enough oxidation to signal, enough reduction to protect. That's practically what we're talking about. So the redox balance allows signaling imbalance that causes damage. Oxidative stress is not always bad. It is part of our normal cellular signaling. The problem occurs when protective system like glutathione NAD becomes depleted. The issue is not oxidation, it's the loss of buffering capacity. So in every time that we are giving you a therapeutic intravenous nutrients and minerals or any type of supplements that we want to give you through IV, we always want to give you glutathione, Glutathione always you have to put it after you do the IV in a bolus injection, and then the NAD you could inject it intramuscular. It's easier if you put it intramuscular because it shows more patient toleration than through the IV. But anyway, glutathione and NAD are the main principle of a dysregulation in the redox balance. So following this, once again, redox balance means your body can make energy without destroying itself. That's what I really want you to have in mind. That when we have a redox balance in control, it means that your body can make energy without damaging itself. That's one thing that is very good for you to understand. And when we are talking about structural nuclear integrity, just to make it very simple, the nucleus of a cell is physically intact, well organized, and able to protect and control DNA. Think of the nucleus like a house. Walls, nuclear membranes keeps DNA protected. Support beams, nuclear lamina give strength and shape. Books, DNA instructions. Filing system, chromatin organization. If the house is damaged, instructions get lost. Repair, fail. The cell malfunctions or die. I was just talking to a doctor today, a friend of mine, Dr. Alirio, and Leonardo Alirio from the Dominican Republic. He has a very good strategy and theory about what I just talked about in the structural nuclear integrity of any given cell. Amazing, something very good to see. But talking specifically, inside every cell, it is a nucleus. A nucleus uh, that the way DNA is organized inside the nucleus determines which genes are accessible and which are silent. When nuclear structure becomes unstable, gene signaling becomes noisy and function declines. Functions follow structure. In another word, what do I want to say? What happens when a nuclear integrity is lost? DNA becomes fragile. Genes turn on and off incorrectly. Cell cycle controls fail. Mutations accumulate. Cell age, malfunction, or becomes cancerous. So, what damage nuclear integrity? Oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, radiation, toxins. People want to call it heavy metals, but I want you to call it metals because we do have heavy and we have regular metals, you know? And for that, we need to do a provoke testing in order to give you a chelation therapy to take or to grab as much of metals that the body is being overloaded with. And based on that, we could follow a detox program to enhance, once again, the integrity of the structure of every nucleus or every cell in the body. In another word, making it something simple, okay? Um, the structure of the nuclear integrity is the cell's ability to physically protect its genetic instructions and regulate them properly. It means the cell control center is not cracked, leaking, or disorganized. So when we fix the redox, that's what we want to do. Fix redox first to protect the nucleus, not the other way around. That's what I think. That's what I've always been thinking. And with my friend, Dr. that I was telling you, okay, Dr. We call it Dr. Chiki. He's from Santiago, Dominican Republic, Dr. Liriano. Okay, what we were talking about this morning is indeed that he thinks in that way, which is correct, and I think also in fixing first this redox reaction. from the inside out, not from the outside in. But we are different, we have different philosophy. Now, so once again, so tissues behave as organized cellular network, like you see in the image. Tissues are a community of cells working together. Chronic inflammation often reflects tissue level stress, not disease. It is the body asking for support, not suppression. So, therefore, my way of thinking is that organs do not fail alone. There is a systemic participation, as an example, liver or kidney, just to mention just a few. Organ reflects systems level stress, not isolated failure. Organs do not fail in isolation. Like the liver and the kidney, the heart, the brain, they reflect systemic load, metabolic, inflammatory, or neurologic stress. Blaming one organ misses the big picture. And that's what I'm talking to my great friend, Dr. Leonel Liriano, in which I want to first fix from the inside to the outside. I want to have that redox balance control. And through that, I think it's easier clinically wise. We're talking about clinical, treating a patient. Clinical wise, to me, it makes more sense since I see the positive outcome of my patients. So if we talk about biology, systems regulate survival priorities rather than perfection. The nervous system, the immune system, and the endocrine system constantly decide what matters most for survival. Healing happens when these systems realign, not when they are forced or overridden. In other words, we need to have a synchronized signaling pathway through a cell mechanism. So when we talk about inflammation as a signal, if it's acute, reason to repair. If it's chronic, it means that it's an unresolved stress. So inflammation is an adaptive signal, not always pathology. Inflammation is not the enemy. Acute inflammation heals. Chronic inflammation means the original stress was never resolved. Suppressing inflammation without resolving the cause delays healing. It's like I have somebody that has migraine, for example, and the pain is so strong that he or she cannot get out of bed. You have to be in the house. And then I give you a medication to make you sleep. Am I helping you? Yes. You're going to fall asleep. You're going to feel less pain because you are in a state in which you're not going to be feeling so much sensitive, so much sensations. But did I fix the original problems? No. And for you to know, that's why I have my DPS, Dante's Pain Syndrome injection support for anyone that has migraine or some kind of nerve or neuropathy problems in terms of pain and inflammation. Now, healing, it is a process. It requires physiologic time and resources. True healing cannot be rushed. What I did with in my second degree burn case with ozone, UVBI, and high doses of vitamin C and minerals and B and the B complex family um, gave me unprecedented healing in really short time. Now that does not mean that that was a miracle. No, what I did was again I just tried the inside of the cell. I got the redox imbalance equilibrium, let's say, and I give the body, I give the cell what it needed to heal itself. So true healing cannot be rushed. The body needs energy, a structure, and time to reorganize. Quick fixes often silence symptoms but postpone recovery. So when we're talking about healing, we're talking about time, energy production, and a structure support for each of our body cells, tissue, and body system. Now remember, this is why I think why symptom suppression fails. It masks the feedback. It forces new adaptation as we started from the beginning. Suppressing symptoms disrupt adaptive feedback. We have some feedback loops. Suppressing symptoms is like turning off a fire alarm while the fire continues to burn. The body compensates often in less favorable ways, let's say. And this is how acute problems becomes chronic. So, by just me blocking the symptoms, that does not mean I'm attacking the root cause of what's happening here. So as clinical implication, the clinical focus must shift to system restoration instead of asking what drugs treat this symptom. We should ask, where is the symptom overloaded? Where is energy lacking? What adaptation is protecting this patient? Those are clinical clues that we have to look. Because true healing restores adaptive flexibility. Healing is not about perfect labs or perfect numbers. Like, check this out. Everybody follows the lab range on iodine, and it is a misleading iodine level range. That number that we have today does not imply functionality or functional cellular iodine level. So if we follow that range that we have today on iodine, for example, on the levels that are reported and the ranges, you are not dealing or treating cellular physiology or optimization of the iodine intracellular wise. You're just following a number. How many of you have your blood taken or your blood work comes out perfectly fine? The doctor says to you, everything's right, it's in your mind. No! And the patient feels sick. No, this is wrong. Numbers are right because we have not found what is actually instigating or initiating or the root cause of what we are trying to figure out. So it's not that the numbers, the labs are good and that the patient is making it up. Not at all. It's that we haven't found the right reason why the patient feels sick when all the test results says that it is normal. This is something controversial. Physicians should guide, not override, physiology. The physician's role is not to fight the body. It is to understand its logic and support it. The body is not broken, it's responding. In medical school, most of us, let me just speak for myself. They didn't teach me in medical school how to provide health. They taught me how to look into diseases, the test that will guide me into diseases, and how to treat those symptoms of the diseases, not to cure. I would love to cure, but that is another topic. So, as a final takeaway, again, my jasmine tea. As a final takeaway, healings flows from cell to tissue, organs, system, and then it end up in health. We always want to start from that point out, not the way around. If we treat these markers that we know for fact already, that alter cell functionality, that alter this function of any given cell or mitochondria, we cannot just work on what's happening. We have to work in how to reestablish, restore, regenerate functionality to a mitochondrial level or cell level. and it's doable, and we are doing it. Anyway, I hope you like this. Thank you very much. Once again, this is my channel. Please hit the button, subscribe, send me a message, write to me. I would love to answer you. Thank you very much, and I hope you have the very good happy 2026. Bye bye.